сегодня сессию насчет глобальной конференции в Сенегале. Так как никому не дадим, если есть интерес, наша уважаемая коллега Стефани, она может представить эту краткую сессию, 10 минут, подготовка в Сенегал, что планируется, как мы планируем. Прямо мы просим Стефани Рочфорд подойти коротко.
Hi everybody, thank you for voting, because if you hadn't, Emil would have been the one doing the presentation tomorrow. So this way, it's one less presentation for Emil to do, which I think is probably good, because he's done a lot of work already. So, yes, what is happening in Dakar in 2019 at the end of January? The Publish What You Pay Global Assembly is happening. So, what is it? What is the Publish What You Pay Global Assembly? It's a meeting which happens once every 3 years, and it's the only occasion where we get members from every single Publish What You Pay coalition around the world together in one place for 3 days to share our achievements, to share our challenges, what we've learned, and to discuss our strategic priorities for the future. So it's a really exciting opportunity to get everybody in the network together. In 2019, the event is going to take place in Africa for the first time ever. Africa is where we have the most Publish What You Pay coalitions. There are 25 national coalitions in Africa. There are 45 in total around the world. So the meeting is happening in January at the end of January. What are we going to do there? Why are we meeting? Very importantly, we're going to be adopting the new strategy that Elisa just presented, and which we all, where you all just provided your feedback and your preliminary endorsement. We're also going to be using the opportunity to learn from each other to strengthen the movement in line with our new strategic goals. Who can come? So obviously we have more than 700 member organizations in Publish What You Pay. It's not possible for all 700 to come to one meeting. So we're asking each national coalition to nominate 3 people to represent the coalition at this meeting. There will also be key technical and financial partners attending the meeting, including some donors who you are all working with and who we are also working with at the International Secretariat. How are we going to pull off this amazing feat of meeting with 200 people from all over the world? We're going to fundraise together. So we are already fundraising at the International Secretariat, and with Emil and with you are going to be working to make sure that there is enough money to send everybody to this meeting. And we are also in consultation with you on the strategy, and we'll be sharing other relevant documents over the coming months to make sure that everybody is prepared. You have a copy of these slides in your packs in Russian, so you can refer to this. We can also share this with you on email, but there are some specific criteria for how you select the 3 delegates who will attend on behalf of your coalition. This needs to be an open, participatory process. Every member needs to be informed of the opportunity, but we do stipulate that there must be gender balance. This means that you must send a minimum of 1 woman as part of your delegation of 3. We also want to see young people, the next generation of transparency activists. So we are asking that you include a youth representative in your delegation. Youth is not too onerous a restriction, it's under 35. So hopefully there are people under 35 in all of your coalitions. At the moment, the 3rd criteria is that the person needs to speak either English or French. We do understand that that is a very big demand because obviously this region is not an English or French-speaking region. We are hoping to fundraise for funds to be able to provide interpretation in Russian, but at the moment, we are asking that delegates have working capacity in English or French. But we will keep you informed over the coming weeks and months if we're able to provide interpretation in Russian. Okay, what are the expectations of this delegation once you have selected them? So these people are going to come to the meeting to represent your coalition. They need to feed back to you about what it is that they've done at this meeting, what they've learned, what the implications are for the campaigns and the agendas that you have in your own countries. So we expect these people to participate actively, to read all of the background documents, to come prepared to input into discussions, to share your experiences, to ask questions, to debate. And we're asking that when they come back to you, to the coalition, that you hold them accountable for their participation. Ask them what they did in Dakar. Ask them what they learned, and ask them how it's going to reinforce the work that you are all engaged in at the national level. So these are the criteria and the expectations of the delegation of 3 which will come to the global meeting in Dakar. So there's a process. The national coordinator of your coalition is expected to lead the consultation to select the delegates. Once they've been selected, there is a form which we can send again, but which is available online to send through the details. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be working with you to make sure that we secure funding for all of these participants. But that will be a joint effort. At the moment, to be very transparent, at the International Secretariat, we have funds for 1 person per coalition. But at the moment, we do need to ask for your support in fundraising with your donors and your partners to ensure the participation of all 3 delegates. So the purpose, again, of this meeting in Dakar, this 3-day meeting that we have once every 3 years, there are 3 kind of big objectives. So one is around the leadership of the global network. At the meeting in Dakar, you will be electing a new Eurasia representative on Publish What You Pay Global Council. Your current representative is Turod, who has been speaking and facilitating today. And as Turod mentioned, he will be stepping down in January, and you will be electing a new representative. You need, we'll move on to that. As part of the good governance of our global network, we have a governance manual which outlines the different roles and responsibilities of the Global Council, of the Publish What You Pay International Secretariat, of the Publish What You Pay Board. It outlines our grievance mechanism and all of the processes by which we ensure accountability and good governance of the global Publish What You Pay network. That governance manual is being updated, and so we will be presenting the updates and endorsing that at the Global Assembly. You all have an equivalent document to the governance manual, which guides you at the national level in your coalitions. So this is the document that guides the international governance of the movement. And lastly, there will be, this is an opportunity at the Global Assembly for us and for the Global Council to be accountable to the membership. So we will report back from the International Secretariat on what it is that we've been doing for the last 3 years, and the Global Council likewise will be reporting back. So these are the 3 kind of big objectives in terms of how we're building and strengthening our global movement. Again, the detail of this is in your packs, but it's very important that each coalition considers if you would like to nominate a person to represent the region on the Global Council. Every coalition is eligible to nominate 1 person, and that person should bring strong experience of natural resource governance, good leadership skills, good negotiation skills, the capacity to sit on the Global Council and effectively represent you and the Eurasian coalitions in Publish What You Pay's governance structure. So it's a role that has great responsibility. It's a very exciting role. It's an opportunity to really engage with how we can make our movement strong and as effective as possible. As a result, that person needs to bring really strong credentials. So I encourage you all to reflect with your coalition members at in your respective coalitions on whether there is a particular person who you feel could bring those skills to the Global Council. Again, and this one is non-negotiable, unfortunately, this person does need to have the capacity to work in English or French, because the Global Council meets a minimum of 1 time a year, and we're not able to provide interpretation and translation consistently in more than 2 languages at the moment. So that is a non-negotiable restriction, unfortunately. Again, there are expectations in more detail both on the website and in your packs. Now, the deadline to submit a nominee is actually this coming Sunday, but I think we can extend that deadline by maybe 1 or 2 weeks to give people an opportunity to really think about whether there is a good candidate that you want to nominate. Now, Tirod has already made reference to this. The nominee from this region this year must be a woman, because the Global Council is committed to a gender-balanced Global Council in the future, and so they have implemented a pilot to alternate the gender of each representative at each Global Assembly. So because your current representative is a man, your representative who you will elect in 2019 will be a woman. And so that's the same for every seat. The gender will switch. So in Anglophone Africa, Francophone Africa, and here in Eurasia, you'll be nominating women, and in the other regions, they will be nominating men. Tirod also made reference, I think, to 2 global reach seats. If you know of a good candidate who works for an organization that has a global perspective on natural resource governance issues, that normally means that they operate in at least 3 or more countries, you are also able to nominate somebody for this seat. Again, more information on the website. The National Coordinator is also responsible for leading the consultation on whether or not you want to nominate somebody for the Global Council. That, again, should be a participatory and transparent process with all of the members. There are a number of documents that you need to send through in order for a nomination to be valid, including details of the nominee and evidence that his nomination or her nomination has been supported by the whole coalition. And there's an email address to send that information to. I'm going to, very briefly, Publish What You Pay as a global movement is guided first and foremost by 10 operating principles. These are essentially our core values as a movement. And as part of the revisions to our governance manual, we're looking at those 10 values, and we're developing a framework of indicators by which we would be able to know that all of us are upholding those values. I won't go into more details now, but we can share with you very shortly the results of a pilot that we have been doing, including in Kyrgyzstan, to test the framework of indicators, and Milan has been very involved in this, and we'll be able to give you more detail, to make sure that those indicators are effective and useful. But essentially, this is about Publish What You Pay as a global movement, really practicing what it preaches in terms of transparency and accountability, and ensuring that we are a strong and effective global movement that upholds our principles. So I put them up here, but we'll skip through this. Again, these are on your slides in Russian. So I'm going to finish now. Just in summary, what needs to happen. Each coalition needs to nominate their 3 representatives who will attend the Global Assembly in Dakar and work closely with Emil and with us to secure funding for them. Each national coalition should consider whether they want to nominate a woman, one woman, for each coalition, you can nominate one person, for the Global Council. We need to work together on the funding, and there's more information at publishwhatyoupay.org. Sorry, that was a bit of a run through, but please email me or Emil or talk to us over the coming day if you have any questions, and we will also email the links so that you can access the information easily on the website. Thank you.
Окей, как я понимаю, вопросов нету. Все понятно. Я думаю, что этот вопрос очень важный, потому что глобальная ассамблея выступать является главным органом, который ведет, рисует будущие инициативы, в которые мы все вовлечены. Я думаю, что я, если честно, в моей практике за последние несколько месяцев работаю, я, если честно, не заметил должного внимания. То есть я только как-то разочаровался, что вот насчет, значит, вы знаете, что при подготовке мы там рассылали разные анкеты, разные процессы. То есть, судя по всему региону, из 9 стран я в среднем, ниже среднего, так скажем, да, получал реакции, вообще интерес. Я не знаю почему, но, наверное, мы это выясним скоро, или сегодня, или завтра. И у нас, значит, перед значит, бюджетом у нас, значит, осталось одно дело, это сфотографироваться, пока все здесь сегодня. И мы, я попрошу, чтобы мы перед нашим красивым постером, который мы, значит, я предлагаю, чтобы мы собрались там, чтобы вместе как бы семейную фотографию.